Chosen one, last night something happened. Something so great that even the archangels were left speechless. Something so powerful that heaven itself seemed to pause for a moment to watch. You won't believe what took place while you were sleeping. It is so extraordinary that it has already changed your reality, and you need to know about it right now. A supernatural covenant. Haven't you realized it yet, chosen one? Pause for a second and truly listen. Last night, while you were sleeping peacefully, your spirit was awake and in motion. Though in the natural it looked like nothing was happening, everything was happening. While your body rested, a supernatural covenant was sealed. One that has left the highest angels in heaven with their mouths open, still trying to comprehend it. You need to hear this message right now, because what happened last night set in motion a chain of events that you will begin to see manifested in your life in a matter of days. This is not symbolic language or poetic imagery. This is raw, undeniable spiritual reality. The archangels, those mighty warriors who stand before the throne of God, were stunned. Not because something bad happened, but because something so beautiful, so unexpected, and so uncommon took place that even they were left without words. And you were at the center of it all. The time of testing is over. Let me tell you what happened. While you slept, there was a meeting in heaven. The books were opened. Your name was spoken. Angels gave reports of your faithfulness, of how you kept going, of your obedience. They recorded every fear you released in silence, every prayer whispered in hope, every time you chose to believe, even when everything around you told you not to. And when the reports were finished, something happened that left the archangels in awe. When God speaks, all creation obeys. And he said, the season of testing in their life has ended. Last night, that declaration was activated again in the heavens. This is not a distant prophecy we are waiting for. This is an hour that is already unfolding. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are walking under the impact of something truly extraordinary, and that power is with you right now. That dream you had, that pressure in your chest, those clear thoughts you woke up with, everything is connected. Believe me, they are after effects. Something very special entered your life last night. Your story is receiving a radical turn. You didn't do this. He did. Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. The change is already happening, but it depends on you embracing it. As you step into this new and glorious season, I invite you to declare your willingness. Leave an amen in the comments. It is your way of saying you are ready to embrace the purpose God gave you and to stay until the end of this message. The heavenly records were opened. Let us finish with a powerful prayer to align your heart with what heaven has already initiated. Chosen one, stop for a moment and connect with your spirit. Set aside your mind and emotions and connect with the part of you that remembers heaven. Last night was not just a change. It was a moment of absolute truth. While your body rested in peace, everything that was destined for you before you were born was taken from the heavenly archives. It was not reviewed. It was not proposed. It was set in motion. Psalm 33:11. The plans of the Lord stand firm forever. The purposes of his heart through all generations. What was decided about you was not a simple hope. It had purpose, and that purpose cannot be erased. The courts of the Almighty gathered not because of a crisis, but because the appointed time had come. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Last night was the turning point of your season. It does not depend on what you did or failed to do. Heaven never forgets the promises spoken over your life. A total shift. That is why the archangels stood still. That is why heaven held its breath. The verdict over your life was not a simple yes or no. It was a complete turnaround. Years of waiting, silent struggle, prayers you thought were lost in the void, moments when hope almost went out. Everything was remembered. Every grain of faith, every silent plea, every good deed done in secret. Everything was written down. Revelation 8:4. The smoke of the incense, together with the prayers of God's people, went up before God from the angel's hand. Your prayers went up, and now they are coming down like thunder. What was hidden is coming into the light. What was silent is now manifesting. When your scroll was unrolled before the throne, light burst forth. Not only were God's plans revealed, but also the enemy's strategies, those invisible barriers that had been blocking your path. Years that were hard to explain, lost opportunities, relationships that left hidden scars. But heaven saw, and heaven responded. This is not made up. Music. Invisible prisons are collapsing. Some people wake up feeling a calm presence in the room, a sacred peace, without knowing that their name has just been spoken in places they cannot see. Others have cried without knowing why, unaware that their soul is responding to a battle that was fought for them. You may be one of them. This message did not arrive by chance. It was placed here for the exact moment you opened your eyes. For a long time, someone believed they could touch what belongs to you by divine right. They whispered lies about your worth. They placed limits to control you. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. Last night, every whisper of accusation was silenced. Every false alliance was exposed. That person who was sweet in public but cut you down in secret, their true face was suddenly revealed for all to see. This is not about revenge. This is about divine justice. And when the truth came out, the heavenly hosts reacted the way they did when Christ rose from the tomb. Light exploding, sound shaking everything, joy resounding through the heavens. The Lord said, I will restore to you the years the locust has eaten. Joel 2:25. This is not a future promise. Music. It is happening now. The doors are open. Some will doubt, but deep down, the Spirit knows. If these words resonate with you, it's not just persuasion. Your soul knows it. Doesn't it? Heaven has acted on your behalf before. This is simply the most visible time. The door is open. Not a physical door, but a spiritual one. It does not burn with destructive fire, but with a glorious flame that purifies. The angels are there, not symbols, but real beings, waiting for you to agree with what has already been set in motion. God does not need your permission to bless you, but He invites you to align yourself. The miracle is at your doorstep, but only those who recognize it allow it to enter. Remember Joseph in Genesis, betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, imprisoned unjustly. But God never let him go. And when the exact moment arrived, without effort or manipulation, Joseph found himself in the palace. His story was not one of revenge, but of God's perfect timing. Like Joseph, the trials you went through did not remove you. They positioned you. This is not a new path. It is the ancient path that the hand of the Almighty marked out before your first breath. Music, the unstoppable decree. Here we stand, with heaven as witness and eternity watching. And the Lord says, it is now. What was withheld is released. What was stolen returns to its owner. What was hidden comes into the light. What happened last night was not just a change. It was not a dream, nor an interpretable spiritual experience. It was an irrevocable heavenly shaking. It was proclaimed in the heights and still echoes throughout all creation. Invisible realms trembled, Thrones aligned. The eternal order shifted to make way for a burning decree. And even this morning, the cry of heaven can still be heard. Why hasn't the chosen one realized it yet? It was not an ordinary night. While the world slept and you were resting, something ancient and powerful awakened. An urgent, fierce summons echoed through dimensions that have never known rest. It was not a trumpet nor a whisper. It was the voice of the Ancient of Days. When God speaks, all creation comes alive. Last night, that voice convened the divine council. Wings filled with blinding light, thrones of eternal fire aligned. And in the midst of that court lay your scroll. Your life open before all. The sword of Michael and the trumpet of Gabriel present. What followed was not ceremony. It was a battle for justice. An angel stepped forward, carrying all your pain. Every lie you were made to believe. Every betrayal you endured in silence. Every broken promise. Every delay that was not your fault. Psalm 56:8. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Are they not recorded in your book? Everything was written. Then Michael appeared, the prince of the hosts, not with gentleness, but with the fierce force of divine protection. His sword, bright as the stars, rose not to wound, but to separate truth from lies. With a voice that silenced everything, he said, "Enough, no more." It was not a warning. It was a final command. When he spoke, it was like thunder racing across the universe. Structures that had been holding you back collapsed from the foundation. Invisible prisons made of others' words, adopted fears, unwanted patterns, all crumbled under transforming power. You couldn't see your chains, but heaven could. You couldn't measure the delay, but God did. With a single word, the delay ended. Hidden intentions were revealed. But what came next left even the archangels speechless. From the assembly emerged a figure, someone from your life, someone you know, a trusted companion, the one who always had a different tone in private. Heaven saw everything, hidden intentions, silent alliances, quiet efforts to stop you at the root. They thought no one was watching, but heaven sees all. When the light of God filled the room, no shadow remained. The mask shattered, the snare unraveled. The plans were exposed, not with anger, but with holiness. And then something unexpected happened. Your scroll began to glow, not with destructive fire, but with greatness. Gabriel appeared, the messenger of the Most High, radiant like rivers of light. He stepped forward and unrolled the scroll with your name. Everything others had written with malice was erased, all sabotage removed, betrayal reversed, lies scattered like ash. Heaven restored what was lost, and the one who thought they had authority over your blessing was exposed and removed. Psalm 35:10. All my bones will say, Lord, who is like you, who rescues the weak from the strong? That is exactly what happened. You were defended in the eternal courts while you slept. Your freedom was declared. Michael lifted his sword like lightning, and with a single strike, every chain binding your destiny was cut. Gabriel's trumpet did not sound softly. It pierced the heavens, carrying the sound of your freedom from one realm to another. And the Most High said, "Tell them before the night ends, or the door will close." That is why this message is pursuing you. Heaven is not waiting for God to act. God has already acted. Heaven is watching to see if you will respond. This is not about what God can do. It is about whether you are ready to receive what He already did. The veil is lifting. What was withheld is seconds away from touching your spirit. Last night, everything changed, but the world didn't notify you. The networks didn't post it. Your phone didn't vibrate. This moment was for the throne room, not for headlines. And yet, you are the first to know. The angels are astonished, not by the darkness that tried to hold you, but by the overwhelming light released in your favor. They saw doors closed for years burst open. They saw hidden blessings flow toward you like released rivers. They saw your life transformed in the flames of divine justice, the sacred reset. They looked at one another and said, "Do they know yet? Do they feel the shift? Do they realize what was lost has returned?" There was no need to ask. Job 42:10, the Lord restored Job's fortunes and gave him double what he had before. What you thought was the end was a turning point. What you thought was loss was preparation for the greatest return. Heaven was only waiting for you to wake up. Last night was a sacred reset. Every plan to stop you was exposed. The one who smiled while conspiring was unmasked. Their influence ended. Their voices were silenced. Your name rose above the storms. Your scroll was not only opened, it was rewritten. The fire that changed your story is still burning. Heaven has already decided. Now the earth must align. You are standing in a moment created long before you existed. The angels know exactly who you are. God knows precisely what your calling is. The question is, will you recognize it? Will you stay long enough to receive the full truth that has been pursuing you? Even if everything looks the same on the outside, in the spirit realm, everything has already changed for you. The keys have been handed over. What you thought was withheld is now released. What you thought was lost has returned. What worried you is already on its way. Isaiah 22:22. I will place on his shoulder the key of the house of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. Last night, the keys were delivered. The doors that were closed against you have been thrown wide open. And no envy, no betrayal, no darkness can close what God has opened. The archangels are still there, their wings trembling with glory. They have seen too much to remain silent. They watch, they wait, they plead, they whisper. Don't miss this now. It's so close. That's why you feel something inside you that you can't explain. Your heart is beating faster. Something won't let you scroll away. Your soul understands what your eyes haven't seen yet. You endured everything, and it was worth it. Heaven saw every tear, collected every cry, recorded every injustice, and rewrote your story with justice, mercy, and fire. Your final revelation. Last night, a decree echoed through time. It is finished. And here you are, standing on holy ground. From now on, every word matters because the decision has already been made. You are no longer waiting for God to begin. Now you get to witness what he has already done. The next word will bring what your heart has longed to hear. The next second will lift the final veil. The truth you thought was lost returns like a mighty wind, and the angels keep speaking your name. Stay, because what comes next will open the final chamber of revelation. And believe me, your life will change when you hear it. Heaven moved. The verdict has been issued. And guess what? Your name was spoken in the courts of the Almighty. Last night, while you slept peacefully, something so powerful happened that it shook eternity. Michael rose like a wall of fire, defending what belongs to you. A thunderous sound traveled through time, announcing your freedom. This is the hour. The chosen one is finally free. And God in all his authority said, "Tell them before the night ends, because after that, the door closes forever." That is why you're here. Your heart was restless. wasn't it? Why did you feel compelled to stay even when your mind wanted to leave? This is not coincidence. This is Kairos. Hidden treasures are coming into the light. You are looking through a window that feels endless. Every second here carries weight. Every breath brings revelation. Heaven revealed who was blocking you. The mask worn for years was ripped away before the angels. What you are hearing now is not just inspiration. It is a direct message from the throne. You are inside a story. You are about to discover what was decided in glory. The archangels keep saying, "Don't leave. Don't overlook this. This is your moment to shine." Last night, a beautiful light shattered the darkness. Every chain binding your promise is broken. Every hidden delay erased. Every stolen blessing has begun flowing toward you like an overflowing river. Heaven trembled. Angels fell silent. And here you are, still unaware of all the good already done on your behalf. But heaven will no longer let you remain unaware. Isaiah 45:3. I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord. What was hidden is coming into the light. You are beginning to see the treasures buried beneath false alliances and unseen obstacles. Stay where you feel the connection, because the final piece of truth is emerging now. The divine decree. What the angels saw last night is being whispered to your spirit. Michael, the great warrior, stands ready, lightning sword drawn, defending what heaven wrote over your life. Every silenced lie broken, every spiritual barrier destroyed, every hand that tried to block your inheritance removed. Gabriel's trumpet did not sound gently. It sounded like war, a declaration that shakes the heavens. The chosen one is free. It is their moment. The waiting is over. And God said, before the night ends, let them know. This is their final opportunity to receive what I have already done. This message reached you at the exact moment. Your heart feels the pull. That's why you're still here. This is not just any word. This is your word, my friend. What they tried to silence is now proclaimed. What they tried to steal is returned to you with your name on it. What they thought was buried is already resurrecting. Heaven is still speaking. The angels are still near. Every second here is sacred. Every word you hear now is charged with divine justice. Amen. And may it be so in your life right now.